Today I'm going to share with you 4 of my favorite self-help books that I believe beginners would do well to start off with. These are going to be quick, easy reads that you don't need to know too much stuff ahead of time and that are going to make a real impact on your life. So we'll start today with one of my favorite books and one of the simplest, easiest, most value-packed books that exist in the self-help space, and that's The 4 Agreements. In this passage, he's talking about this idea that we make ourselves suffer about the things we've done, the things that bring us shame or guilt or where we weren't our best self. So this is what he's talking about when he's saying paying for each mistake. True justice is paying only once for each mistake. True injustice is paying more than once for each mistake. How many times do we pay for one mistake? The answer is thousands of times. The human is the only animal on earth that pays 1,000 times for the same mistake. The rest of the animals pay once for every mistake they make, but not us. We have a powerful memory. We make a mistake, we judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty, and we punish ourselves. If justice exists, then that was enough. We don't need to do it again. But every time we remember, we judge ourselves again, we are guilty again, and we punish ourselves again and again and again. Is this fair? Is there any value in doing that? Am I getting anything new out of the experience of living in that moment? And for most of the things that we think about, that we obsess about, the answer is no. Not being perfect, we reject ourselves. And the level of self-rejection depends upon how effective the adults were in breaking our integrity. After domestication, it is no longer about being good enough for anybody else. We are not good enough for ourselves because we don't fit with our image of perfection. We cannot forgive ourselves for not being what we wish to be, or rather what we believe we should be. We cannot forgive ourselves for not being perfect. Book number 2 that I recommend for beginners is the Daily Stoic. What he's brilliantly done is every single day of the year, he gives you one of these quotes from the ancient Stoics, but then he modernizes it, he adds context, he explains exactly what they mean, and he shows how to apply that to daily life. Why then are we offended? Why do we complain? This is what we're here for. And so Ryan's addition to that's from Seneca. He says, no one said life was easy. No one said it would be fair. Don't forget, though, that you come from a long, unbroken line of ancestors who survived unimaginable adversity, difficulty, and struggle. It's their genes and their blood that run through your body right now. Without them, you wouldn't be here. You're an heir to an impressive tradition. And as their viable offspring, you're capable of what they are capable of. You're meant for this, bred for it. Just something to keep in mind if things get tough. One of the things the Stoics preach more than anything else is accept everything as it is and to do our best to progress. I love that reminder. Think of the life you have lived until now as over, and as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own, for what could be more fitting? Book 3, and that's The Untethered Soul, teaches us this idea that the stuff that happens inside our head, that is not our true self. That is just the mind doing mind things. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. If you don't understand this, you will try to figure out which of the many things the voice says is really you. People go through so many changes in the name of trying to find myself. They want to discover which of these voices, which of these aspects of their personality is who they really are. The answer is simple. None of them. Dr. Lindsay Gibson's Who You Were Meant to Be. You might be more familiar with her from her best-selling book, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. This is the book she wrote about 15 years before that book came out. It is perfectly possible to grow up, leave home, get a job, and still be caught in the role of lifelong child because you care too much about what your parents think. How can you tell if you care too much? You find yourself thinking twice, once for yourself and once for your parents, before you pursue what you really want. The very things we most disliked being told as a child often become the very things we unconsciously start to believe about ourselves. What Don Miguel Ruiz calls self-domestication, taking other people's voices and instilling them in our mind as if they were our own. We can be taken over by these swallowed attitudes as if they were a kind of draining life form. These thought parasites can live inside us for years, even if they originally had nothing to do with who we were or who we wanted to be. If you've already read Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents and kind of have that same feeling I did of what's next, this has a lot of the answers. I'll add one more that's a little bit more advanced, but it is my favorite book of all time, written by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor about 2,000 years ago. It was never intended to be a book. These are his writings to himself. The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do, only what you do. Not to be distracted by their darkness, to run straight for the finish line, unswerving. This is a fantastic book that where every single one of these passages, I truly believe, has the power to change your life.